Hi everyone, this is Laura from Grain & Co. and today I'm here with as the second project for the August Creative Maker box. This is the little mini sunflower gnomes. So let's get started. You need to make sure you have your 3 backs, your 3 front sets, as well as your 3 stands. Now I've already taken my pieces out of each one and collectively put them in with each gnome, but now I'm going to just kind of separate. So I like to paint each color separately, and because there's so many pieces with each gnome, we're going to kind of paint those pieces and put them back with that gnome so we know exactly which pieces go with which. So I'm just gonna separate these into piles at the moment and I'm gonna make piles of what colors need to be done of each. So for this one, like these are blue, these are yellow, this is green, that kind of stuff. So when I go to grab it, I'll have all those pieces there. So that's the first pile. The second one, that one needs to be stained, and that's yellow, yellow, yellow. These are stained. There, and this one is green. Those are stained at these pieces here. So gray, and we've got our flesh tone ones. And I've got a little dot here, that is with that. Got the white beard, whoops, forgot to put that one back up. That one's white. And this one is blue, so that'll be there. Whoops, and then those are the brown. I'm just gonna set those not too far because there are some places where we need to do some painting right on the base itself. All right. Okay, so we'll do a blend on those. This one is white, that is blue. Okay, so what I'm gonna do first is do my stained ones. I always like to get staining done and out of the way. So I'm gonna start with the 3 stands, and then I'm gonna just go and grab each set and then put it back in its pile. So that way I'm not getting each one confused. Now, I realize now that I'm at home, I don't really have anything to put my stain in. So still trying to figure out what I need here. So I'm just gonna get a little creative. Hopefully this will work for me. Okay. So you'll need your foam brush, grab some gloves, and I'm just gonna start with these here. And then grab your cloth to wipe with, and then set them off to the side. Okay. See, I thought about the paint, but I didn't think about my stain. Okay, there we go. Okay, so those are done. Now into the first one we need just the inners of the sunflower. That would be that one. So let's take this. And then set those back. Okay, those ones are done. Now into the one with the hat. So we need the hat and all of these inner pieces, and then we need the handles to the scissors. So you can easily stain right over this, and then we'll just paint that color over the stain after, so you don't have to worry about being so careful. I mean, if you want to, you can easily just line these up on some tape and just run your brush over, but I didn't do that, so we're just gonna individually do each one. Okay, so those ones are done. And then with the one with the hat, that we also have the basket. So you need to come down in here and just run your brush over that. You don't have to be perfect because we are going to do a lineup, but I am going to take my brush at the bottom of these and wipe the stain because I don't like it to be unfinished, and I don't want to paint it. So I'm just going to run it on all three. There we go. Okay, and then the last one is the female. So she just needs the inner parts of the sunflower as well. Okay. Okay, I think that is it for stain pieces. So I'm just going to pause really quickly and go wash my brush, and then I'll come back and we're going to work on white and get that one out of the way. So I'll be back in just a sec. Okay, so next is I'm going to do white. So there isn't any white except for the beard. So I'm just going to grab each one. Oh, two beards in it, and the girl's hair. So you can grab your stain cloth that you were using or a clean one, and then just grab your paint. I didn't bring a paint tray, so I will just use my, just use my paper towel to put some on there. And then begin. So I'm going to use my full sponge for this, and then as I get to each color, I will cut them in half or leave it in its big section. I'm not using a baby white for these because it gets too difficult to wipe those sides and make it look neat. So I'm just making sure that when I start in the middle so that I don't have a whole lot going over the edge. And then I'm just going to get the slight dusting of color on the side. Okay. Because things are so much smaller here, we can go from color to color pretty quickly. So I'm just gonna give these a moment to dry, but I will start on a different color. So I'm actually, I don't have any small pieces, so I'm just gonna grab a new one and I'm gonna work on, the nude color and probably the brown color, which is oakum, at the same time. So I'm gonna grab these. Now this is where I will use some tape, and I'm not sure how well, let me see if I can get that in the camera. So I've got parchment paper here and it doesn't stick to that, so you guys can see that. So I'm just gonna stick them here, try and make their own little piles here. So let me set that off to the side. Okay, so I'll grab these ones. You kind of have to be really organized with these gnomes because 3 is the least we've had in the collection, but some of them can have 5. The ones we're releasing for fall have 6. So you definitely want to stay organized when you are doing these. So grab your nude color. That will be the one in the little mini pot because you don't need a whole lot. And we're going to need, so when we do this one, we're going to need it on this one and this one as well are going to need it here. This one, the other one, the boots come right up to here. So we're also going to need those ones too. So grab your sponge. And do the same thing. Once again, I'm not wiping them. It's just too hard with those little ones sometimes, so. Okay, so take it here and just do a spot there. You're gonna have something cover it up anyway, so as long as you just get that little section there, then you will be okay. Okay, so the white ones are dry. So I'm gonna do those again. Give them a sand. Okay, and then I'm just gonna repeat that. So I'm just gonna speed anything up that I do doubles on, so you don't have to watch me for the full time. So those are done. I always do 3 on my whites most of the time, so I'll come back again in a few minutes and just do another coat. So for these ones, I'm not gonna take them off the tape if I can help it, because every time I take them off and put them back on, they don't stick very well. So I'm just gonna try and sand them on the tape. Hi, Arlo. My bunnies are watching me do my video. Okay, so I'm just gonna do those hands again, hands and nose. And these I'll only do 2 because that's all they really need. And let's come back here and get these sand. Okay, so set those back with their pieces. Okay, so since those are done, then I'm gonna work on the feet or their shoes or booties. So I'm gonna cut this one off. And This time we're gonna grab the brown one. So that's the one you would have used for the lettering for the sunflower market sign. Those. Now you could tape these in place, but I'm just gonna do them this way. They're a little easier to hold and it's okay with me. Okay. Usually have paint on my fingers anyway, so. See if I can get enough there. Okay, so leave those there, make sure my fingers are clean, and come back and give these a quick sand. And I'm going to do these for the last time. Those parts are done. Now I can come back to the feet because they are already dry. And I'm going to give them a sand. So you can see how it dulls it when I sand the darker color. So I'll do the second coat and I might give them a light sand or I'll leave it and then I won't sand them again till tomorrow because I find with the darker colors that if you sand them right away, then they tend to lose their richness. So I usually give them 24 hours before I sand them again so that it holds on to that darker tone instead of dulling it out. Sometimes I might want to do it the different way, but sometimes I want that richer color. So ones are probably gonna need one more coat. Just they're a clear base color, so sometimes like the browns might need a third, and actually these ones might be good after two. So so now I'm gonna move on to probably the yellow and get those ones done. So I'm just going to kind of set these off here just in case I decide to do another coat on them. But so yellow is 2 there, 3 here, and here. Now this one has a bit of yellow here. So I'm going to start with yellow here and then we'll do a blend after. So I'm just gonna leave that off to the side there. So grab yellow and I'm just gonna pour a little out. Whoops, it's more than a little. Okay, so I'm going to take, I'm still using that one. So I'm gonna use this one since I'm not wanting to cut this one up yet. Usually I'll wait and then I'll just use the one sponge, which is what you guys got. So you'll just work with that, or if you've got scraps left over, you can definitely use your scraps, which sometimes I will have here. So it's got a little char. Okay, so just like we've done before, you're just going to gently do this. Now, with the sunflowers, you want to make sure you're not going too heavy on the paint because you still want to be able to see those score lines so you get that detail in the sunflower. I tend to dab most of my paint in the middle and then go out. We're not going to see the middle anyways, but it helps me to get that little extra off. And just very lightly tap that surface. ones. Okay, so the hair. Like I'm still gonna, even though they're blended between the two, I'm still giving them a base coat because I can't achieve what I need to in just one coat. So we'll give them a coat there. So, so I'm gonna let those dry a minute. I'm just gonna take a look at my feet. And those ones look pretty good, so I'm gonna set them to the side. That one could use a little bit. And those ones are good. So I'm just gonna tap a little on the top of the booty on this one. So let's do that again. Okay, so those ones are done. Okay, these I can sand already. It's really warm today, so things are drying a lot faster. Whoops. These ones I'll give them a few extra minutes because they're just a little wet. So start over here. Then I'm going to head on to the green so I can get that part out of the way. So we've got this part and I've got, so we'll have, okay, hold on a second. So for the one holding, oh, my pictures get mixed up here. So, all right, so this one we're doing on here. So we'll actually be doing it on the gnome base. So that one is here, and then that one's got the hair to the top. So we'll keep that one close. And then the other one, we've got this piece, and on this one, we've got these leaves here. So that's what you're gonna need there. Still keep some yellow close because we will need it to do that blending, but we can start with the green here. Okay, so that is the olive. I'm gonna just try and squeeze some in here. Okay, so grab your sponge, and once again, same thing. I'm just gonna do this one first. So don't worry about overlapping all that extra parts. It doesn't matter. You don't have to stay quite so in the lines. Okay, there's that one, and then let's start on the head one. And then go to this one. Make sure you go up enough on the stem depending on where that little insect comes in on the flower. So just kind of come up a little higher on that to make sure that it's covered there. So All right, set that there. The yellow we know are fine because we're gonna dirty them up a little bit. So we're just gonna give the green a second. I'm not gonna move on to the blue until I'm done all of the green. So I might just step away for a second and then I will be right back. Make sure I've got everything I need to. Yeah, give me a second and I'll be right back. Okay, that didn't take very long. So I'm just gonna come in here and gently sand this one because it does have a very delicate stem. Okay, so I'm just gonna repeat coat 2. And then we will come in and do some blending here. On here, I knew there was more green. There is a green leaf on this part as well. So you just need to come in here and do that one as well. So don't forget, like me, and I'll just leave that one out so I can do a quick second coat on it. So using a smaller sponge for these ones is better than using the big one just because your lines are, your area is not so big. So if you've got scrap pieces, that's a good time to use those little ones up. Okay, so that one's done. How well is that? Okay. So as you can see, that's pretty blunt to have it just like that. So you kind of want to blend that green into the yellow. So, okay, that one's fine there. So what you're going to want to do is either take your yellow or your green sponge. It really doesn't matter too much, but you just want to make sure you've got a big enough area. Now I'm just going to add a little yellow to one side, and I'm going to add a little green to the other, and I'm carefully going to pounce it off and blend it on there. And then I'm going to come in with these together and blend it that way. So that way, so it's blend on, if you take it right when you put the yellow and the green on and you go right to your piece, then you're gonna get lines of green and yellow. But if you blot it off and blend it on your paper towel, then you will get it to be a little bit more blended. So when I pull it away, you can see how the green blends into the yellow. And if you've got, you feel like you need to fix this up at the top, then use your green sponge. So that way now it doesn't look so harsh, green, yellow. You kind of just move that green gradually into the yellow. So that's what those are, and you can just let them go off to the side. Once you're done one, if you didn't feel like it was enough, you can always go back and do it again till you like what you've done. But other than that, that's exactly what it does. All right, so I'm just gonna come in here, give this one a sand, and use this one, and quickly do that. Okay, so that is done now, and green is done here. My stems are looking pretty good, and this one is fine too. So the only other colors we have left are the blues. So we got the blue on here, and we've got the blue on his body at the bottom. This one will have it on his hat. This one we will have on his base, and this one we have it on her dress. So I'm just going to sand the hat so it gets that area ready to paint. And then I'm going to grab my sponge. Okay, so I'm just gonna try and find a clean spot here. Good enough. Okay, take your blue. You might want to get a little tiny brush. The 1/4" one in your set will work, or you know, something smaller, whatever you feel comfortable painting with. I don't have my one here, so I'm just gonna grab a really small one. So I'm gonna start with these ones first. So this is where your, like this adds here. So you don't necessarily have to paint this part down. So you can just do the hat. And I did not put anywhere near enough here. So see, when you put this over top, you don't see that anyway. So as long as you get the hat part. Okay, so I'll grab my brush and just paint in that section there. If you don't have a brush and you've got green tape or some tape, you can always just tape on either side of these, of the stripe, and then just use your foam wedge to do that. So that's another option but you should all have brushes with you, so then you can do that. So I'm just gonna kind of tuck my brush in the bag. Okay, so now I'm just gonna check them. Okay, those just need a couple minutes. So while that's drying, I'm just gonna come in here and sand my stain pieces. Get those done. Just have one more small little color to do, and then everything will be painted. Ones are done, these are dry. Careful sanding this one too. If you catch it, you could snap that one. Okay, so go back ahead and do your second coat. So this one needs a second coat, but I'm not gonna sand it yet, because if there's still any dampness underneath and I sand it, that could bleed into the stain part. So I'm just gonna give it its second coat, and then I'll sand it when I know it's dry, really dry. There's not really any texture when I'm using the brush, so I'm not worried there. And it was already sanded when I stained it, so it already pretty much has a smooth surface already. So There, so you can just leave that one. Okay, so next you'll need your gray. It's a little tiny mini pot as well. And really you needed like a drop. But it's really hard to put a drop in a thing without it drying, so I'll have a little extra for any other projects. Okay, I'm just gonna cut this away. Whoops. Okay, now take your shears here and you're just gonna do the top part to the handle, and this one you might want to tape. I'm just gonna tape it and hold it here. There, so those are the ones, and I'll do one more coat there. But in the meantime, I'm going to give the sunflowers a sand. I'm going to, we're gonna dirty up the edges a little bit, and then I'm gonna let everything dry for a couple hours, and then I'm gonna come back and we'll assemble that. Okay, so, and this already dry, and that one on the sleeve, okay. Okay, so those ones are done, and that is done. Okay, so now you're gonna need your stain again. Now, I like to just put like a couple drops on a paper towel, because I'm using it just for more lining my sponge in, and you won't want a very big sponge. So the one I had for the gray, at least for this project, because the sunflowers aren't very big, I don't want a very big sponge. So what I'm doing is what we did on the big sunflower. So you're just taking some stain, it's pretty much all gone, and then you're just coming and you're pulling it on those edges. Now I'm just gonna do one way first because they're so small. I don't want them to get too dark at the end, so I don't wanna try and do both sides one way. I'm gonna flip it over and come back at it and do it the other way like this. Whoops. There we go. Grab the right side, Laura. There we go. So these little ones don't have much. So you can see how it shadows it just a little bit, and then these ones I'm just gonna come in and do a little bit in the center. I don't think I did it on the big one, but I'm doing another sunflower one, and I kind of like that. So let's see, which one is this one from? So if I do this, you can see there, but I'm gonna do a little shadowing just past the inner circles. So you just don't want much because there's really not a whole lot of room, and then all of a sudden you're going to hit the other one. So just very lightly. Here, I'll do it and then I'll show you what I did. So I'm not going very, I probably have more stain on the inside than I do the outside. So you can see how this is kind of just stained just past those little squiggles. Pretty much most of them are gonna be hidden, but it'll just give a little shadow effect on this side. You can even do that with like a different color, like if you wanted it to be like, if you had a different color that you wanted to add, like, you know, mustard or a darker yellow, not any yellow, but you know, a different yellow, you could always come in and do that so it looks like it's, you know, blending from a different yellow to a lighter yellow. But this is what I like, so this is what I'm doing. So come again to this one, and you're just gonna do all of them again. So I'm just gonna do them all fast, go fast, so that way you don't have to see me do it in real time. But I really haven't put anything much left on the sponge, because even though I've done one way, I can still see a light shadow, but once I go back the other way, then it really starts to get darker. So just watch on these little ones. They tend to deepen or show that shadow a lot easier than the big ones. So just watch. If you think you've done too much and it's just a little bit too dark, you can always paint over them. It's just the water-based stains. So here's the one, and you can see how this one has the shadowing in the middle and this one doesn't. So depending on what you like, you can do both way, either way, or none at all. If you don't want to do any of this at all, the shadowing, you don't have to do any of that. You can just leave it. It'll look cute either way. Okay, so the yellows are done. Let's see, what else do we have to do? I think that is it. So I'm just gonna let those all dry. When I come back after, then we can do things like your accent line. So even though you might think this is a little dark, I come back in and do some white highlights with a white paint pen, or you could do a very fine tip brush, anything like that. So that's where it's gonna help offset some of that dark. That part. We are coming out with a project that is with the basket, and so in there we do some shadowing and stuff, but this is pretty tiny, so we're not going to do it on here, and I didn't do it on my sample set either. So you can always do that after you see what we do with the basket, but I think you'll find it's fine just the way it is. So, okay, I'll come back in a little bit and we'll put it together. Okay, bye. Okay, guys, I'm back to do the assembly on our mini sunflower gnomes. So I'm just gonna quickly sand these, which I could have done before I got on here, but this one I could sand now because it's good and dry. Just gonna just stress my hat a little bit. There we go. Okay. What else do I need to sand? Some green, I think. And this one. Okay, so let's start with the accent bits first, because some of them are easier to do before they get assembled. So I'm gonna do the sunflowers. So just like we did with the big one, I'm just gonna come in here and draw some lines. So you can do them however you like. I'm just kind of doing slight little curved lines that go with the movement of the petal. There we go. white paint pen is really bright. Usually mine aren't quite so bright, so I definitely want to stick out a lot. Now, you don't have to do this. This is just an extra, so it's not necessary. So if you feel like you needed a paint pen to do this, you can just avoid this step. I didn't always use the paint pen on my stuff, but I've grown to like it, and so I just tend to do that a bit more on my stuff. Oops, I need to set that one. A couple more. Whoops, I think I mixed one up in here. Where did I go? This one I think goes in there. I think it does. Hold on, where's my 1, 2? That one. This to go there, okay. Okay, so let those dry a second. So now we can just start putting one together. So we'll start with this one. And as we get to assembling, some things we'll add accent lines to before we put on another piece. So just kind of let it lay on top, and then make sure you get everything lined up on all sides before you press it into place. Sometimes I like to also grab the beard and the body before I fully squish this into place, because sometimes it needs just a little different spacing, so I just kind of lay it all out. Okay, so right now everything is looking good, lined up on the sides, and the spacing is nice. So you can just press that into place. Now I'm not gonna sand my boots yet. It's only been probably an hour since I finished the video on the painting part, so I'm not gonna sand those because I don't want to lose the really rich brown. Now just watch when you put this hat piece on that you haven't gone too far down and it knocks your boots off, not off, but it doesn't line up properly. So just, you might even want to put your boot down there first to make sure that everything else is bumping up into place. Okay, let's make sure it's lined up there. Okay, so that part is done on here. Now before I put on any of the other layering, then I want to come in here and add some accent lines. So I'm going to put some, maybe I want to put this on first, hold on. So where you put your accent lines will be kind of where you're going to end up seeing them. So you can do this one before or after. I might actually put this guy on first and then I'll come in and do it. Okay, so make sure you get that curve properly. So just lay it on top and then come over and make sure. Whoops. Okay, so that's fine. So I'm gonna press that one into place. Okay, now I can do accent lines because that way I know I'm not gonna cover them up. So I'm just gonna come in here and once again, this is all preference. If you don't want to do this, if this kind of scares you a little bit, then you know what? It's not necessary. I just like how it kind of brings out some of the detail. It's kind of like when I used to do a lot of furniture refinishing. I like to really distress the edges, so it's kind of like that. Okay, so you can do lines, you can add some dots. And then on the booties, I'm just gonna go like this. Okay, so for this part, it's fine because right now, oh, I can also do my my green part here too. So I'm just gonna side here. So sometimes with the wood, it tends to catch it. So just make sure you sand it smooth so that your pen can easily flow. Okay, so that's that part on him. Now I can come in and do the sunflower. So you're going to have to, once you get it, the back off, you're going to kind of have to spin it till you figure out where it is, but let's start peeling a few, and then if you're careful, you should be able to lift up and just rotate and that back will come off pretty easy. Okay, so just keep spinning and make sure it lines up. Now some look like they do, but you want to make sure that it's, nope, see that one's a little still off. I think that might be the better. Whoops. Once you think you're good and you've got it where it's the best fit for those petals, then just press it into place. If you did lines, mine are still fresh, but I think they're dry. Then just press that, and then we're going to find the nose. Okay, there, and then the hands. So, this one will go on the stem. Sorry guys, with these little pieces I have to do it so I can see them. Okay, and then the next one is the flower. So this one can come up, can go anywhere, and then you can put the hand there, and then we'll put the insides in. So I just kind of lay it on top. I haven't pressed it in place yet because I want to make sure I can get my hand in there like I want. Okay, that should be good. Just gonna press it there. Maybe I want it up a little bit more. That's hard to say here, hold on. Okay, good enough. And then just push your other hand into place over here. Oops. Okay, good enough. I could play all day. All right, so I'm gonna grab my stand here, which I haven't sanded yet, and I know I still have to put the insides in. But just to show you that it should fit in there. So, all right, so bring these back over. Now you'll notice on some of the spacing on the inner flower will be, some will be bigger and some will be thinner. Like this one, they're closer together. So you just need to watch those details when you're putting your inner piece on. And then once again, I want my to be up at the top there. So I'm just matching the grain too. So these ones I might not get much choice to where my dots are going to be, but this one happens that they will be on this side. So press that into place. Same with this one. Okay, so once those are into place, then I usually will come in here and do these lines. So I'm just gonna go around the circle a little bit just to highlight that. Now I could do these curves, but they're so small, these flowers, that I don't want to overdo it, so I'm just going to leave those. But I am going to come in here and color in these dots. They're kind of small, so some just need the little tip at the end. There. So now he is done. And then he can, oops, I know what I forgot. I was going to do a little bit on the nose. So then he is done, and then he can go in a slot. So if you ever find that they don't stay very well in their slot these days, every time you get wood, they seem to change their thickness by ever so slightly, which then messes up all my files. So if it doesn't sit very well, you can always just stick a teeny tiny bit of glue on this ledge and a little bit of what goes underneath that sits on there, and then if you make sure it's standing up straight, then you give it a few minutes and it will be just fine. You just won't be able to take it apart. So I guess it depends on what works for you, but he is done. So now we can go on to the next one. Okay, so let's grab the hat. And same thing, I'm just gonna kind of rest him on top, make sure everything is lined up first. Okay, and then the bottom. Okay. So now if you have to shift anything, because when you cut things, sometimes there's a little groove left because of the laser line, so you just want to make sure it's all evenly spaced there. So okay, that one's fine. Okay, that looks good. And then this one will come in here. So make sure you've got your lines good here. So if you want to, you can just lay him here while you're pressing everything else into place, but that seems to be good there. Okay. Now I guess, and I did this, you know what? I did the exact same thing last time too. So before you put that together, I didn't come down far enough. So when you put this on, you'll see that there's a space in here, and there's a little bit where the green is on the leaf, but it also comes down into here. So just like I did before, I'm going to have to come down and fill in this little bit with some green. So we'll just do that really quick, and then we'll come back to it. So don't forget to do that. Okay, so I'm just going to put a little on my sponge. And just come in here. You won't necessarily need 2 coats, but you don't want to see that bare wood. So there's that. Whoops. I don't want to go right over top because it's got the sticky back. So now you can see in between there that it is now green. So that'll be good enough, probably. Okay, so I'll just let that dry for a moment. And I'll put his boots on. Okay, so that's fine there. So while I wait for that to just dry a second, let's do it one quick more time. Okay, so let that dry. I'm going to, where's this one? And then, see, I did mess, those are hers. So these ones are, where is it? Oh, good grief. So these ones will come over here, and then I mixed up my pieces. Okay, that one goes there, and no, that one's too small. Yeah, okay, so it's those two, and then this one will go on his hat. Okay, so while we're waiting for that to dry, we can go ahead and do some accent lines on his hat before we put that sunflower up there. So okay, and then I'm just going to add a little down here. Now this is an extra fine point, so just if you're ever, I don't think I've ever mentioned that, but you don't want your lines too thick. All right, what else do I need to do? This one can do some on here on the basket. Let's see what I did on this one. Okay, enough. Just draw some little accent lines. Okay, good enough there, and then on his boots. Okay, so then I'm sure that's dry enough. So I'm just going to carefully add this. So remember, your sides here will have to match on the basket, and okay, so that should be good. And then just press it into place. Okay, so I think we said this one will fit here, this one will fit in here somewhere, and that one will go up here. Let me just double check. Yeah, okay. So just again, just keep spinning until you find the petals match the best, because sometimes they're close, but they should be exact. See, no, keep going. There, I think that way is the best. Okay, then press it into place. Oh, I know what I could do before I put this one on. Just keep it upside down. I forgot to come in here and do some lines just on the leaves here, so. And then you can do it after the fact, but you find that sometimes it's just easier to do them before you get all the layers on. Here we go. Okay, now this one. Okay, I think that works. You know what? It's close, but it's not quite. Yep. Nope. Nope. There we go. I think that one's the best. Sorry guys, there's really no easy way to figure this out other than just to keep spinning. Okay, I think that's. Oh, no, it's still not right. Top is good, but the bottom is not. Oh, I think I found it. Much better. So just be patient. It does happen. Okay, close enough. It's not too bad. All right, and then the other one is going on. Oh, see, I bet you that wasn't it, but you know what? It is what it is. Okay, and then this one can just go up at the top here. No special place, just wherever you feel it looks the best, and then just give it a press. Okay, so this one's got little squiggle or closer ones. This one has closer ones. Whoops. That one's there. Whoops, I might have mixed them up. I'm not sure how, because unless I put the wrong, no, I shouldn't have. me a second, I gotta look at it this way. Okay, so now I kind of got figuring out why this one doesn't work. So when I was cutting, I had a couple that were duds because the template shifted, and so I was grabbing pieces to try and save some. And so what I think I did is I didn't grab the right one for here. So your guys should be fine. It's just mine that is out. So so yeah, just line up the right ones to here. So I must have just grabbed two the same of these ones because this one should be a little bit bigger. So I think one of them got destroyed, and so I accidentally grabbed the wrong size when I was pulling it apart. So, so yes, just find the ones that match with each one and it'll be fine, because my first set is fine, what I did. So this is exactly why it doesn't fit. It took me a moment to figure that out. Okay, so just line that one up and find its matching circle. That'll be it, okay? And set that one in there. And I'm gonna do this one. I'm gonna avoid this one for now, just because I'll probably just go cut a new one for that one and finish assembling it after, but and that's the small one. Okay, so we'll do the, so forget those, whoops, and we'll do the nose. So even though the circle is inset, that's just so you don't see it after, so you'll just line it up right underneath that hat. And then one hand will come in here. That's the right one. Put the right one there? No, that's this one. So grab the right one and set it in here. Might be easier to do before you put the flowers on, but just try and get it curved right. If your fingers are bigger, you might do it before. Here we go. Okay, and then we need the shears. Okay, so the little circle goes in the center here. And then these are the handles. One. There's 2. So take these. And you can set them kind of down here. Figure out where you want your hand to be. And then kind of just position them together. Yeah, that's probably what I'll do. I'm going to come in here and just do a little, fill in those dots again. The ones that are really small, just leave them because the score mark tends to make the ink go weird. But, alright, so then just highlight his nose. And he is done, except for the fact that I am missing a part, but grab your stand again. And then he can sit on his stand. So he is good there. All right, now we're on to the last one. All right, so this one's sanded. We're gonna grab all these pieces, and we need the hair and her dress. So all of these will have to fit in there. Okay, so let's start with the top. Whoops. Lay it there. Once everything is lined up there, just need just a little tweaking. So it's just a little low, so let's back that up. And it's just the angle, and then it creates weird gaps all the way down. So make sure. Come on. Okay. Good enough. Okay, so that part. Okay, so I want to do these leaves here before I start getting that those sunflowers in. So I'm not necessarily doing in that groove, except this one kind of did. It's kind of going right next to it. This one I could have done first, but it's fine. And then you can just add, we can add the, well, I can do it now. Okay, good enough. Here's bugging me. There you go. Okay, so let's take these ones. Now, one way will fit better than the other. I don't think they're interchangeable. No. So for me, it looks like the skinny, the closer looped or ruffled inner is the one at the bottom. So that should help you. Started. Okay, so this way. Just keep positioning it to all those, whoops, pieces line up. I think that's pretty good. Okay. Oops. Okay, well, it's too late now. Actually, it should be fine. Okay, so those ones are done. Now I'm gonna do some highlights on her hair here before we go any further. So. Oops. Oh, that one kind of got away with me, so you know what, you just go with it. And then we'll do some at the bottom. And, oh yeah, her shoes. She has some shoes. Oops. Okay, that one. And that one. Okay, so now we can do our highlights there. Okay, and then we can start to put her nose on. Oh my goodness. Okay, good enough. Okay, and then let's do the, okay, so that one will go there, that one will go there. And this one should fit that one, there we go. to believe we're working on fall stuff. All right, so let's set that one in there. Okay, that one's there, and then these ones should, oh yeah, wait, does matter. This one would fit that one, yeah, okay. So that one goes, that one goes there. Here, and then we have the one in the center. Okay. I'm just gonna lay it there, make sure my hands where I would like them to be. Okay, good enough. Okay, that one, we're almost done. Okay, so I'm going to color in the dots up here. Okay, and then I'm going to add a little bit to her nose. And I think we're done. So, I hope you guys enjoyed that. This is the first video we've ever done with gnomes, and it can take a little bit. This one only has 3, so you can imagine the ones that have 5 and 6, that they do take a little bit longer, but if you break it apart into the different colors and keep your pieces separate, especially when they have things that are fairly similar in elements, then yeah, and then it makes it easier to get that done. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed that. I really love the sunflowers. It reminds me of fall, and I love fall. So yeah, so we'll see you guys next month in September, and we'll be still working on some fall stuff. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks guys. Bye now.